we're not on a cruise ship, so we get to walk around and talk about toys.
I'm Rich.
I'm Othello.
I'm Aaron.
I'm John.
And none of us have the virus. I almost said the word. I know YouTube is looking. Ooh.
You said the V word. Or the C word.
The C word.
The C word.
Yes. Well, welcome back to another episode of Fandom United. Of course, we are going to do something special tonight. And I have to give credit to Fwoosh.com is where I kind of saw this article and gave me the idea for the show. So, as we all know, Hasbro has re-released the GI Joe line, or they are re-releasing some of the GI Joe line.
In June.
In June, in the 6-inch scale. So I thought it'd be fun to think about what if HasLabs just went nutty and said, hey, let's recreate a few of your favorite Joe vehicles in the 6-inch scale. So what would your pick be for the Joe vehicle you would want to see HasLabs make, and why? John.
I picked the Mamba.
Here it is, the Cobra Mamba.
Cobra Mamba, its power is frightening from out of the blue. It strikes like lightning.
The Cobra Mamba is a fast attack copter with laser guns and missiles on both sides.
There's a persuader attack!
The Mamba holds 3 Cobras and the sides detach to become separate attack pods.
Triple threat leadership, Cobra Mamba.
Cobra! Joe!
G.I. Joe, American hero.
Live the adventure of GI Joe, Cobra Mamba, and other vehicles and figures sold separately.
Joe.
I know everybody else probably got GI Joe stuff. I got the Cobra one.
They always had cool colors
Yeah.
with the Cobra vehicles.
Cobra always had dope stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the main reasons why I love it is because of the detached 2 ships that come from it. Best thing about it when I was a kid, my Star Wars figures were actually able to fit in these 2 at the end. So yeah, it twirls a little bit. Had some firepower on it. Didn't have any guns, but was stacked full of missiles. I did have the little gun on the bottom.
Now,
You know what we should have done? We should have measured, because just look at the length of that, right?
Right.
Think about that in the 6-inch scale. How long?
Like this is
No, it's
Would that
almost
be-
double bin that you're going from
Yeah.
the 3 and 3/4 inch to.
yeah, so double the size of everything.
but
that
even
we,
the
all of our
scale though
toys.
would have to be larger. It's not just simply doubling. I mean, if you think about this,
So about 3 times?
those 6-inch
2.5.
figures, they're thicker too. It's not just a longer, skinnier figure.
yeah.
And just straight
They're
length
still
is
scaled
still
up from 3 and 3/4.
So the 6
mean-
inch is probably, this is probably going to be your figure right there. So you
No,
got
I
to
think
go
they're
out.
bigger than that.
Think so? That's about 6 inches.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
That's
Couldn't
right.
resist. Couldn't resist. Couldn't resist. Sorry, Phil.
See,
I was thinking it, but
I was. God, all the jokes I have are about this stupid virus, and I'm struggling tonight
To
to
keep
talk
yourself
about,
from
yes,
saying-
So
because
we're
I know
going to just show how
just,
broken Othello is.
oh, it's
because
killing me.
All he can think is like horrible things that he can't say. It's like those people who are saying, "Don't touch your face," and then
Yeah,
like,
they're like,
during the
Yeah, I
that
can't-
was the best. Like clicking their finger
Look
in
at
front
her
of
finger.
your face.
Don't touch
Like,
your face. I can't. Oh my gosh, it's killing me right now.
I wash my hands and I eat sunflower seeds, so I'm going to get to touch my face. But you got
See, I never wash my hands
Stroke
or
your beard.
wipe,
I always do
you know,
that.
Why would I
Yeah.
start
like
now?
that is. I don't even think
I ain't
about
doing
it.
it.
Y'all are killing me. Y'all are killing me. So I'm not even.
No, how is that a problem? I know I'm stealing your thunder on that. How is that a problem? I'm sorry, we're talking about that. No, we're talking about GI Joe.
I can't. I
G.I.
can't.
Joe.
Because as soon as I get started on it,
Just don't say
This
the
is-
name. They won't flag it.
it'll just ruin the entire show. And so no, I'm just not.
We're not here for that. We're
All
here
right,
for
so-
we're here for this.
So John, how much do you think? How much would you be willing to pay for that in the 6-inch?
6-inch scale.
$19.99.
Right.
in the 6-inch scale. Does my wife know? That's the other thing.
No, no.
No, I think
that's
it's
it?
I think it's a DL purchase because
Yeah,
I don't think your wife's gonna let you buy
There's
it.
nothing DL about that
Period.
purchase. I mean, look at the size of that thing from the 3 and the 3/4 scale. Think about the shut up. Think about. I know what you're getting ready to say. Think about it in the 6-inch scale and the just the sheer.
Mass of it?
You're killing yourself right now. You just can't wait. So
I think it's 2.5. I would say it'd be about 2.5.
2.5 what?
2.5 times bigger.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, I'm just talking about the cost. Like, how much would
Oh.
you be willing to pay for it?
Probably gonna
Let's
charge
say-
at least 150.
Yeah, let's say I was thinking $150, $175.
I think that's kind of low.
Yeah, I agree. I think if they did something that size, I think you're looking 150 would be the starting point on it, but probably closer to
200.
Okay, 200.
Man, I wouldn't be able to afford buying that.
All right, so
Well, I picked the Vamp.
$50.
all right, Rich, because I knew you were going to pick the Vamp when I sent out the text. I knew as soon as I'm like it's either going to be the Flag or the Vamp.
Well, you get the
I
candy.
would make the flag. I wouldn't buy the flag.
The flag would take up this whole thing.
The Flag would be like a few grand.
Well, it was originally
Yeah.
7 foot long. If they kept it and just scaled it up, you're talking at least
Like
14,
A room.
15 feet long.
You'd have to make a room out of it.
Yeah.
Well, now I kind of want to change mine because I think that's awesome. I think that's something that should be done. All
Yeah.
right, Rich. So
A
tell us about
centerpiece.
yours.
Ready the mobile missile system. Get the rapid fire motorcycle. Go get him,
He'll
Joe.
stand for freedom wherever he's needed. GI Joe is there.
Hook up the heavy artillery laser to the attack vehicle. Move him out.
Sold separately.
Stand for freedom wherever he's needed. GI Joe is there.
GI Joe attack vehicle comes with clutch figure. Other products from the GI Joe collection, each sold separately from Hasbro.
Well, the Vamp was not the coolest vehicle, but I liked it. It was, when I was playing with Joe's growing up, it was one that always, it was on every mission. So, I mean, it had great towing capability.
So you said
I don't know. I just always dug it. I always liked it, and I liked Clutch was the driver, and he was like always on my A team of people who went into every mission. So I figured realistically, if they were going to make a vehicle line, that this would actually make sense of something that they could do. Not nearly as impressive as the choices that you guys had, because yes, if it's going to HasLab and it's something that they're going to make kind of like what they did with the sail barge, which is amazing.
Yes,
That would be a kind of project I would expect to come out of HasLab. This is more something that I would expect to hit just the shelves, because it's small enough that they could get away with doing something this size. I think this would be about the max size that you would see.
So you're talking
at regular
about
shelves.
2 figures, right? Can fit in that? 2
Yep.
figures? What do you think would be the price point on that?
I would think that they'd put it out between $60 to $80, realistically.
Wow. Very affordable. Wow.
I think so.
How many
I can
JD
agree
Power
with that.
Wars did it have?
What they would put it out that high, it would get clearance, 6 months later, and then you'd pick it up at Walmart, for $20, and then
Sell
bring
it
it to
again
me
on eBay
and
for
try to give it
80,
to me
yeah.
and get me to pay you more than that. And,
That's what
Now,
I
what
did.
did you tow? What was your favorite thing to tow? with
of all the stuff that they had, my favorite was the HAL, the HAL. It's a little deal. It came with Grand Slam, where it had like 2 louvered things that hooked on the back. I didn't own that one. I had the Mountain Howitzer, so I played with that more than the HAL. But I always wanted the HAL. Didn't get that till I was an adult. So
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be cool. Like, they could do, like, rubber tires and, like, really make the accessories
Make
Oh,
it
yeah.
kind of stand out.
yeah.
Like, I could see that. I mean,
Give it
because,
a-
like, the gas cans on there are removable, right? Because they
Yeah.
got the handles for Joe's to carry them. And so, I mean, yeah, that could be...
winch and
That'd be pretty cool. Oh, a working winch would be awesome too. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. I was like, what is he doing to this toy?
it was awesome when I was 5. So
All
Yeah.
right, so yours would fit 2, John's would fit 3. And
I see
then-
where you're going with this.
well, I'm just so I don't make myself go last. Just because I have the best one, I'm gonna go with the Rolling Thunder.
Nobody beats G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe rolling
It's
thunder.
the incredible GI Joe Rolling Thunder.
Cobra's running scared, starting to wonder, can he survive the rolling thunder?
Yo, Joe.
Nobody beats G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe rolling thunder. Machine gun cannon and a rocket tower. Rolling thunder's an awesome power. Nobody beats G.I. Joe, a real American hero.
Rolling Thunder comes with driver, other vehicles, and figures sold separately.
Now this came in later in line. This was like after I was done with Joe's, and this kind of came in later.
Sure did, buddy.
But the Rolling Thunder is awesome because of the sheer size of it. Because it is the most impractical military vehicle that there possibly could be. It had this turning thing here with tons of missiles on it. This giant cannon right here. So it'd be 2 figures here. What we got?
You can fit 2 in the front.
3. 3. There's another
gunner.
seat right there.
Yeah, for
Right.
You got a
the-
stand-up gunner too, though.
Yeah, you got the 4 gunners back here. So this is
Right.
4 here. That's 8, 10. But then one of the things I loved about it is that this slid out, right, and opens up.
You got the little ATV.
You got the little ATV in here that looks like it came out of Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
No, you know what that always reminded me of those the rides at the carnival that like the little kids sit in. Never mind.
And then,
It's like a merry-go-round thing, but they had the 6-wheel things that look like that straight up out of banana splits.
And then I never noticed that there
and
was rockets
then
built into
it has the ICBMs because who just wants to drive around with these in there?
And the cluster bombs built into
And the cluster
ICBMs.
bombs
Oh,
built
Lord.
into them. And these things are massive. These are huge. So if HasLabs was going to take on something, I think this would be hilarious. I think it would be really expensive. I'm thinking like 800, maybe even $1,000. I think more.
yeah,
Probably
yeah,
2.
probably.
Probably around 2.
I would say starting at 6, probably something that
600.
I would agree with 800.
That sounds like 800 to $1,000.
I would agree
Yeah,
with
I mean,
that.
look what they did with the Unicron is 700 starting point, but I mean things massive,
Yeah.
and they got it.
I'm just
Well,
thinking that
they kind of got it. I mean, let's
They're
be
making
honest.
it, so
They're making it because they really wanted to make it,
That's
and they
what it
didn't
was.
want to. They didn't want to look like nobody was interested because nobody was interested enough to actually fund it when it was supposed to be funded, like the sail barge. So Hasbro cheated and extended it so they could just make it anyway. But whatever. What were you gonna say?
I'm just thinking that my mind is going wild about who would actually be on this to be able to handle it. Like they would have to have their best marksmen, their best shooters, because this joint misfires.
Yeah,
with
bro.
those
I mean,
missiles in it.
there is no. I mean, it has these missiles, dude. Have cluster bombs in them. Right? So you have these huge ICBMs. You have 2 of these, so that's what I lost count because you got 4 here, 4 here, 2 here, so that's 10. Plus somebody could jump in this little guy, so this little guy has to be the scale
Yep.
for the figure to get into, right? So you have all of this. I think would just
Close to $1,000.
be.
I'd say close to $1,000.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I'm not gonna force that close. It's not. You got it. Yeah, I'm not breaking stuff I can't pay for.
breaking it.
Now, see, you did that. That's not. I didn't do that.
I rip off.
Just stand like this.
Yeah, I'm like, mm-mm.
We'll fix it later.
Yeah, we'll fix it in post. So yeah, this would be my choice. The Rolling Thunder, just because it is so ridiculous. It's so large. It is something I think that HasLabs would be able to wrap their heads around and do justice to, and it would just be really, really ridiculous.
I can see that. That would have to be that would just be a I got money to burn purchase right there.
But all the HasLab purchases are I got money to burn purchases.
Okay, now
Nobody needs a 3-foot Unicron. Well, that's
Yeah,
not true.
yeah,
I kind
true.
of wish I had that money, but.
I'm gonna let Aaron do his, but then I'm gonna say what I really think that it would be if they are gonna do one. I've got one that my money's on what it would be.
All right.
So
All right,
I
you-
picked Killer Whale.
He'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe!
It's a Cobra attack! Get the G.I. Joe hovercraft! Get the new Joes aboard!
GI Joe hovercraft holds 9 Joes. It's the big new way to bring the Joe team into action, and it floats on water.
Release depth charges! Yo, Joe! Chase that Cobra! Way to go, Joe!
GI Joe hovercraft comes with driver, other figures, and equipment sold separately from Hasbro.
Which was also on my list.
This had a lot of fond memories for me. Like this was my bathtub toy for a while till I broke it.
Freaking rich kids. I'm gonna tell you.
So- I just told Grandma what I wanted and I got it. I was spoiled. But my favorite thing to do was, I can't play with this too much because Rich said it earlier, it is a very delicate toy and it broke really easily. But
Totally engineered.
I loved to launch the guys out the tube into the water, and I did it so many times that I broke it
Is
within
that a
like
bicycle?
a week.
What is it?
Yeah, there's a little mountain bicycle here, and over here are the drums, the explosive
depth
drums that
charges.
you would drop into
Oh,
the
the
water
depth
to hit
charges,
the subs.
yeah.
Yeah, so I lost these within 3 days.
Does this open?
Yeah.
I'm not touching.
Yeah,
I'm
and
barely. I don't.
This
wanna...
opens, and it even says "Beware of fans" back here, and the fans were incredibly delicate. But I loved this toy as a kid, and I used to. How do I say it? I wasn't very nice to my toys.
He was Sid.
Most spoiled kids weren't.
Yeah, most spoiled kids weren't because they knew grandma was going to get them.
Being a delicate toy like that, it went through the ringer before I was done, but it holds a lot of memories. But if I had to guess full size, if we're going to scale, we're probably...
That one's 3, but it's just because the veins are unbroken. The louvers are unbroken.
So we're probably saying it'll come out to about here, and I would say...
God, that would also be ridiculous.
That much bigger, yeah.
Which, really is not out of the realm of reality. I mean, if you think about the original 12-inch shows, the vehicles that they had in that line, they had a submarine that was probably almost 3 foot. I'm assuming. I was little when it came out, but I just remember it being massive. I mean, it was big enough. It might have only been 2 foot, and I just remember it differently. But I know that you could put like a guy in it because I had a cousin that had one, and I'd play with it whenever I went over to his house. So, they made big stuff back in the day.
Yeah.
Just think about the Ninja Turtles van.
I had the Ninja Turtles van too.
Not much bigger, but it's actually smaller than that.
We know you had the Ninja Turtles van, Aaron.
Yeah, I was at the sewer.
I did not have the sewer. I did not.
Your grandma didn't do you any favors. She's just
I know.
So spoiled.
I know.
So spoiled.
I miss Grandma.
Whatever.
One of my fondest memories, as I'm just looking at all these vehicles, is for me is how much fun it was to put all the decals and the stickers on it.
Oh, I love that.
Oh my goodness, that's just it's bringing almost tears to my eyes. Just going back to those good old days, like you said, the fact that they had
the Beware of Fans.
Beware of Fans. Oh my gosh, man! And it just waking up Christmas morning and opening up your toy
and decaling it out.
And decaling it out.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
No, I didn't touch it.
No, I'm talking to him.
You told me not to touch it. I just said it here so people could see it.
So how many figures could this fit? So I see 2 here.
You fit one here. You could fit one back here, I believe. No, that was the launcher. And then I think you could fit one down here. So 5. I'd say 5. Uncomfortably.
5 uncomfortably. Yes, but think about the upgrades they could do too. Like they could rubberize this.
That's 4 spots right there.
Is that 4?
That's 1, 2, 3, 4.
So they could rubberize this. This
I think
launcher
that front
could work.
part you can actually put a few in there also. Honestly,
what in here?
Yeah.
Or in
right
in the
there.
cockpit.
You're really skinny to fit back here by the bike. Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
So okay, but
My
the
guess-
one that if I had a, I'm sorry, go ahead.
My guess for
how
this,
much would it cost first?
I'm gonna say about 500-600.
I'm gonna go about.
If they
I was
did,
thinking 1,000.
I was
If
thinking
they did the
7.
real
no,
rubber-
I think this would be 1,000.
if they did real rubber,
They don't have to do real rubber. They could just do some kind of rubberized plastic. They could just do a soft feel plastic, but they would still make it float.
If you paid that much money for this, would you put it in the water?
At least
Absolutely.
once.
At least once.
It floats.
But I am the worst.
Just take a picture of it real quick and then take it
As
out.
much as I love this stuff, I am the absolute worst toy collector on the planet because all my stuff sees air. I don't like to leave stuff in packages. I let it breathe.
Yeah.
I can
In a hot minute. Rich only sells me loose figures because he knows I'm cracking the plastic. I'm opening it up. So I absolutely, after 24 hours, after I'm sure that my decal glue is set, and there's no air bubbles and my decals are perfect.
He's gonna set some lights down low. Get a
Light
glass
some
of
candles.
Wine, light some candles. Put a little bubbles in it. Tell your wife, I see you in 30, 45 minutes.
Yeah, just in the bathtub.
What are you
chilling.
doing in there, honey? Pew, pew.
Yeah. Living my life, woman. That's what I'm doing.
Launch the sub.
This is why my wife doesn't watch the show. She hates this side of me. So, all right. So I think mine would be 1,000. I really do. I really do think it would be more than what the estimate is. Because of just the size of it. I just think it would just be ridiculous. All the moving parts, the ways that HasLab would improve it. I really think it would be ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, I agree.
If
All right,
America was a GI Joe vehicle, It would probably be that.
I would be that one.
Well, right now, if this was, you said if America was a G.I. Joe vehicle, like metaphorically, then there would be bubbles over all of this, and there'd be a ton of toilet paper stuffed down in here, and hand sanitizer, because you can't find that anywhere right now, because apparently y'all don't wipe your butts, but whatever. And it would be hermetically sealed, and it would just be.
So yes, the one that I would think that they're probably going to
actually do,
if they're going to go the route of what they did here, they would have to. If HasLab does a Joe vehicle, they're going to go one of two routes. If they're smart, they're either going to do one of the Grails that everybody wants,
Striker,
or they're going to do one that everybody is familiar with. Striker is the one that I think would be the obvious choice because. I would say 1 out of 3 kids that had Joe stuff had a Sky Striker. And it's big enough that it'd be like, okay, yes, this is awesome. This is cool. Now, if they went with a Grail, the number one Grail is always the aircraft carrier. It's too big for them to do. The second choice that I think that they could get away with doing it, and they'd still have to scale it back from how massive the original one was, would be the Defiant, which would be their space shuttle. They had
the Defiant was huge, though.
It was huge, but I think that would,
that.
if they're going to do a HasLab and they're doing crowdfunding, I think people would lose their minds.
Wait a minute. Don't you have one here in the store? Didn't I see one in the back? What was that I saw then? What shuttle did I see back there?
That was one that some guy traded in that he started customizing, so it's not.
So it's not, okay. So it's not.
But I mean, that's the size, but I mean, the space shuttle itself was about this tall.
That would be.
And then it still had the platform that it rode on, and I mean,
that would easily be like $1,500. It would just be massive.
But
I mean, I'm not saying that they shouldn't do it. I'm all for it. I'm like, let's go, HasLab.
Shoot for the stars and land on the moon.
That's what yeah,
I can
you ain't
agree
gonna
with
get
that.
there if you don't. Yeah,
Hey, let's do it.
If you're gonna float one, go big.
Well, I would float that one.
Yeah. But realistically, I'm thinking the Sky Striker would be what they would probably do.
Okay.
I think that would be really awesome, too, especially if they could, connect the wings to the engines. In that scale, you could make the engines dilate like they would when you're going supersonic and why you would have the wings swept back. I don't know if they make that deep of a stab into the engineering of a toy for action figure, or for adult collector, but I think that would be amazing. And yeah, you're right. It wouldn't be my Conquest X30, which is my favorite Joe jet. It could be the Rattler.
No, that'd be no. That makes sense.
I think the Rattler actually, because so many people were disappointed in the Rattler because there's so many of them out there that are broken and that just couldn't stand up to kids. And the Rattler was really cool. I think that's another one. I think it'll be one of those two. and we've lost Aaron. Look, he's over here. He's over here. He's gone. He's in the bathtub with Grandma. You know what? That just sounded. I'm so sorry. That was terrible. That is not how I meant that to come out. That's not at all. Okay, so moving right along before we close out the night show, because after that I'm done. The meme of the week. And on that note, remember, tell them F you and tell your grandma I'm sorry. All right.
Love you, Grandma.
I'm done.